Here we are, concept number 6, and this is one that you'll repeat over and over and over, if you're smart. Okay, here we are. We've come all this way. Right straight from the beginning, we've said, hey, there's some downloads. Hey, keep your receipts. Go face your fears. Go make art. Go see art. We've said, get to know yourself through your art. We have then said, find where your interests and you connect and your art. Go join some groups. We've done all kinds of things so far. But now we have to take another look at where are we today? And this is something that you should be doing quite often, actually. I do it at least quarterly, meaning that I have a quarterly reminder on my calendar that pops up. And I do that because I do think it's that important. But the reality is I'm re-engaging much more often than that. See, life changes fast and opportunities come up fast. So we always have to take these moments to take a step back and think about where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. We have to make sure we're on track, and we have to make sure we've been successful at the things that we have been doing. Because if we haven't been, then we need to find a way to make ourselves successful at that or re-examine our intentions. So we're going to start at the very, very beginning. Are you keeping your receipts and are you doing invoices? Now, I know that this is not the in-depth view that we're going to get later on in the foundation videos and even more later on in the regularly produced videos, but it's still something really important to be keeping. It is money in the bank. That's what it is. So if you're not keeping them, is it because the deposit books or the deposit bags and the box method isn't working for you? Do you need to come up with a method that's more in line with you? If you're keeping them, bravo, you are a rock star. If you're not, let's start thinking about why you're not keeping them. Is it because receipts have too many other things that are not art related on them? We've all been there. There's a receipt. It's not fully a write-off. It's not fully groceries or whatever. Then you need to start maybe carrying a highlighter with you and highlighting the items that are right at the time, throw it in the bag. Maybe that's your disconnect. See, disconnects is another thing that we're going to talk about. You have a goal and you are you. And somewhere there is a disconnect in the middle. It's an obstacle. And not keeping your receipts is a problem. There's an obstacle in the way. It's your job to be aware of where you are when you have those receipts and all of those invoices and what you're doing with them. So every time you go to buy supplies in any way, stop yourself for a minute, ask yourself, what am I doing with this receipt? And when you keep it and you do the right thing, say bravo to yourself. Again, when we compliment ourselves, we release healthy endorphins, which helps us to brainwash ourselves. See, we can train ourselves to do anything as long as we know that complimenting ourselves or saying, hey me, good job, even that releases healthy endorphins. And that will positively reinforce your desire to save your receipts and any other number of things. See, our brains and our body chemistry love endorphins. They love it. And our body and brains are kind of addicted to it. Now, I don't know the whole science behind it, but I know that if we use that to our advantage, we can get ourselves anywhere and past any bad habit. So just think about that with your receipts. What exactly are you doing with them? If it's the good thing, compliment yourself. If it's not, figure out why and fix it. It is your job running your business to do just that. Okay, how about facing your fears? Have you faced a few of them yet? Now, I know some of you might just be binge watching these concepts, but really, then you should still be able to answer, have you done the homework on it? Did you fill out the sheet? Did you rank them? Do you have a plan? As long as you can say, I have faced a fear or I have a plan, I'm okay at this point. But if you haven't done any of it, again, what's holding you back? And why have you not taken this step? I mean, I'm telling you, it's the most critical step you can take. Now, I know I say critical a lot, but really, this one is. It is so important. Again, if you're not, you need to schedule it in, examine why you're not, and maybe it's one overwhelming fear you need to, face. I'm sorry if that's the case. Bravo, go do it, be brave. I got faith in you. You got this. I know you've got this. So think about those things. The next thing was to make art and see art. And I think this one was really kind of like a deep, profound thing because it changes the dynamics of how we approach our artwork, maybe when it's done or maybe when we're viewing it for others. But how has that given you ideas? How has that inspired you? What have you learned about your own technique and your own things? I mean, there's a lot to learn by doing things more. Think about this for a minute. I had this boss. He was still is, an excellent photographer. And I said to him one day, I really hate flower photography. Now, he could be brutally honest at times. So what he did is he looked at me and he said, I'm going to tell you how to fix that. I said, okay, and I was eagerly listening, thinking he was going to give me some technical tip or something. He looked at me and he said, you probably hate it because you suck at it. So go do it until you don't suck at it, because probably by then you'll like it. This was one of the biggest learning experiences of my life. I went out and I did it. I did exactly what he said. And I love flower photography now. In fact, I find it to be a very meditative state. I don't even include it in most of my artistic things because it's me just out there having flower moments. Think about it though for a minute. If you're making art and there's parts that frustrate you, you're less likely to keep tackling it. If you're making art and you're realizing that there are things you dislike, maybe you need to learn something about that technique. Maybe you need to take a class. In doing that and making art that much and recognizing where we're frustrated or things aren't working, we find the keys to further education. Honestly, education and knowledge is power. There's a lot of things you can do that will encourage your skills and will expand your skills. All right, now you're out there and you've been looking at art. Have you identified some places that your work really seems to suit or you really resonate with the people? These are the types of things to recognize when you are out there. Have you found places you really dislike? I have galleries I will never step a foot into again in this city because I just didn't get a good feel there. On the other hand, I have galleries that I like so much, I tend to go and see work I don't particularly like because I always enjoy the experience there. Identifying these venues, whether it's a gallery, an institution, an art fair, juried show, experiencing these things is really huge because it informs you of where you should go. So what do you recognize today? And do you hear that scratching in the background? I apologize. That is my dog. It's her non-nap time, and it is her home. I'm in the middle of her kitchen because it's certainly not my kitchen. It's hers. And I'm very aware of this. All right, so you've made art, you've seen art. What was after that? Well, getting to know your art. What do you know about your purpose today? Hopefully you know something different about your purpose. See, most artists will tell you they're passionate about something, but that doesn't tell me what is the deeper meaning of their work or their desire to create things on an artisan level. That's a problem. Hopefully by now you know more about your purpose because I'm going to say it 1,000 times. Purpose outweighs passion. I can be passionate about anything that suits my purpose. Again, video, great example. I'm not all about doing video, but it is one way that I can feed my purpose in getting this information out to other artists because honestly, I want to see more great artwork out there. There are a lot of artists making it today, and they're making it with honestly kind of crappy art. And I mean this on every level of art making. I want to see great art getting the attention it deserves. And this is the way that I can help the world have more art, is by putting these skills out there. All right. While you've been out into the art world and you've gotten to know of your interests, and you've joined some groups. Have you identified some ideas on pricing or where your work fits in on that level? Have you identified groups that are better for you or worse for you? And how have they affected you? How have they changed your time? How have they changed the supplies you need? See, every experience we have changes our art, because experiences is the mother of creativity, in my opinion. So re-examining these things every once in a while is vital. All right, now you've done all of this stuff. You've worked on gaining an audience. Now consider all the things you can say to different people. You understand your process better. You can talk to anybody about that now. You understand where your work fits in, which will set you up to succeed. You have determined if you have disconnects. I mean, maybe you're not getting to a lot of art shows or seeing a lot of art. How do we fix that? Maybe we need to set a tempo that we work at. For example, my goal is to go to one art event of some sort every week and 3 a month. You see what I did there? I gave myself some room for flexibility. I also make decisions based on my time, because we have to be flexible. But also going through this whole process, it will change your time. So how has your time changed, and are your goals still good goals? Are your practices still good practices? It's something that you need to re-examine periodically. Now, we had you set up a year-long calendar just for the idea of being able to have something to work from. It's a gauge. Now what I want you to do quarterly, or even more often than that like I do, I want you to re-examine, where am I at today? Big things happen all the time. 6 months ago, I didn't have an art dealer I was working with down in a large city near me, to keep it nice and vague. Today I do. It was an overnight change. I mean, instantly I went from producing, so many images a week to quadruple that. And then having to get the prints made and having to, take care of the invoicing for that and the expenses for that. It really took my business structure and it catapulted it to the next level. It was a big deal. Now, that might not be the case of what happens to you, but on the other hand, there might be a position opened up for an executive director of some sort, or there might be a position opened up as curating, and you might want to incorporate that in for the experience of it and for the resume builder. You will instantly have to gauge exactly where you're at. So gauging where you're at today is the beginning of doing this consistently. What's working for you? What isn't working for you? And then decide what changes need to happen. The bottom line, that which does not help you probably hurts you. That's the bottom line. So really think about everything in your art business and career today and consider, where are you at today? What needs to change? There are no concrete answers here, and this is one of the big reasons why I feel like the gurus have it wrong. We're each individuals. We operate differently, we function differently, and hell, we think differently. Creative people are different. I can't give you the black and white answers, and anybody who says they can, I'll give them credit. Maybe they can for some people, but it has to be like-minded people. And then again, maybe it's only a part of the problem that they're addressing. So you have to be very clear on where you're at and what your needs are, and be willing to get further education or make hard choices to remove the obstacles that are there. It's not always easy. I have to say that I make more hard decisions than I do easy decisions. The bottom line is, easy decisions are a no-brainer. There's no decision there at all. The hard ones, however, now that's something different. And if you do these steps, and if you're going to be fearless and you're going to know yourself and your art and be out in that world, you're going to have the confidence to make those harder decisions. They might be scary. Just add it to the list of fears and go face it. So from here on end, double check yourself periodically. I mean, this is a huge concept, and doing it in about midway through these videos is just kind of the right place to do it, because hopefully you've had a lot of revelations and epiphanies. All right, the final thing we're going to cover in this video is just a teeny tiny bit of housekeeping. We had the little issue with my dog noise. I apologize for that. I do try to keep that to a minimum, but every once in a while her nap time changes. 2, I had originally said it would be about 10 concepts. It's actually going to be a little bit fewer because in the course of just talking this through, I have found that a couple of these things really blend together nicely. Part of that is because I have done a lot of these videos, and by that I mean all of these videos more than 4 times. Some of them, one of them, is on time 13. It takes a little bit of getting used to things, but you know what? I'm committed to that. And while I also know that I consider the video quality to be perfect right now, that's perfect for right where I'm at right now. Is it absolutely perfect? No, there's a couple of things I want to tweak, and hopefully you'll be seeing that happen over the course of the videos. I was very intentional about doing that though. I wanted to get the quality to a certain point, and then I wanted you to be able to see in action what it's like to evolve, to expand your knowledge base, to gain higher quality, and to move along through that. Now, I'm also going to tell you that I'm very committed to the number of hours I'm willing to produce video in a week because I want to make sure that I'm making the amount of art that I can. So our evolution here at Alpaca Paintbrush might be a little slow, but we're hoping that it won't put you off. If there is something that we can do in the video quality that you think would be very helpful or less distracting, I'm more than open to hearing about it. You can always email us. All right, the next one, I'm just warning you, it's the one we all hate.